my name is Sophia, and welcome to The Show Must Go On. So today, I am actually back with my school spirits related videos. I know that might sound weird considering, obviously, we're still very far out from season 3 actually coming out. But I wanted to make this little video because season 3 has been in production. So they have been filming it and it has just got me so excited for the next season. I thought it would be really fun to do a video where I can just discuss my theories right now about what season 3 is going to entail. And obviously, once again, I don't have anything really to go off of besides, what they left us with at the end of season 2. And I would love for any of you, if you have certain theories about stuff that's going to happen in this season, to leave them down below because I would love to discuss it. Obviously, we have still a long time until the season comes out, but I don't know. I feel like it'll just be really interesting to make this video and then when it comes out, see if I was correct about anything or, kind of along those lines. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get into it. Yeah, and of course we got Mr. Wally Clark here, my favorite man in the world. So there we go. He's gonna be here to support our theories. Which, first of all, speaking of Wally Clark, we do know, we can all breathe. We know that he did not cross over and he is going to be in the next season. Sorry if you can hear that plane, by the way. But yes, we do know that he did not cross over because Milo is filming with everyone else. The actors Nick Pugliese, who plays Charlie, and Miles Elliott, who plays Yuri, did also confirm in an Instagram live that Milo was back and he did not cross over. So we can all breathe. I mean, I basically knew that because I don't know why they would get rid of their most beloved character. But it was a little scary for a minute because we all know that Milo has been starting to kind of get bigger and bigger in the industry and have more and more opportunities. So it was a little scary for a minute there, but I had faith that Milo would not abandon us. So first of all, here I have this little picture that they posted of all of them. That is a picture of them reuniting to film season 3, and I'm so excited. So first of all, I'm gonna read a little description that was used. I think it actually might have been from the official Paramount Plus website, where it was just kind of teasing a season 3 when they got renewed. And it said, picking up from the shocking season 2 finale, in season 3, Maddie must face the dangerous mystery behind Split River High School in order to save her best friend who might be lost forever. I do think it's interesting though, the way they say she has to face the mystery in order to save Simon, because how is the mystery of the town, whatever, gonna have to do with saving Simon in particular? I don't know. So I'm curious about that, but we're gonna talk more about that. So first of all, the sun really just decided to leave, but you know what, I'm just gonna keep talking. They filmed season 2 between June and September of last year, of 2024. Then the season premiered in January, which was 4 months after they wrapped. So then this season's filming has started in July, and then apparently they're wrapping in October. So then 4 months after October would be February. So if we're going based on that timeline, which obviously I don't know if they're going to follow the exact same timeline that they did of last year, but if it's around the same thing, then it might be February, which would be kind of sad because obviously I want it sooner rather than later. So I'd rather it be January again, even though it did literally come out really late January last year. So it was practically February, but obviously I wish it was a little bit earlier. But I mean, it would also be a good birthday gift though, because my birthday is in February. So it would be a little birthday gift for me. So that's just a prediction. Obviously I don't know, but I just feel oh my god, February feels so far away though. I can't believe we have to wait that long. Okay, anyways. It has been confirmed by news articles that we are getting at least 3 new characters. First of all, we know that the actress Jennifer Tilly, who is most known for her role as Tiffany Valentine in the Chucky series, she is playing school superintendent Dr. Deborah Hunter Price. And then she posted this picture on her Instagram. In the caption, she said there's a new witch in town. So that does make me think, obviously, that she is going to be, you know, kind of I don't know if necessarily like a villain, but like a not nice character, obviously. But based on her outfit and like hair, I feel like she seems like she is from the past. So I'm wondering if she actually was the Split River superintendent like in the past, and maybe even back during like Janet and Mr. Martin's time. We also got this new photo of her and Peyton List together on set, and I don't know, this picture's actually making me think maybe she isn't from the past and she is just like the current superintendent, because I don't know, like I feel like in this one she doesn't look quite as old-fashioned. Like her hair isn't like it was in the other picture, and like her dress is like shorter and stuff. Once again, I don't know, I'm not the best with like knowing historically accurate like clothes and stuff, but and then like the fact that she's with Peyton List, which obviously I know could just be like, you know, they're just taking a picture together, but like I don't know, it kind of just gives me the vibes though that they are actually like scene partners, which would obviously have to make her the present day superintendent. So I don't know. And then the two other people that we know are new characters are Ari Dalbert and Erica Swayze, who are most known for their roles as James in Friendship and Sierra in Davy and Jonesy's Locker. So literally all we know about these characters is that their character names are Kyle and Livia, and we just know that they are recurring roles in the show. So that's literally all we know. Obviously you can tell they're both like younger actors. I feel like they are most likely just like new friends of the living people at Split River. Maybe somehow they're gonna like help them in, you know, figuring out these mysteries of the town and everything. I guess they could be people from the past, but I don't know. I just get the vibes that they're gonna be present people, and I don't think they're gonna be ghosts, like new ghosts or anything, because obviously like I think that would be insane if there were still more ghosts that we didn't know about at Split River. Like I don't think that would happen. Unless once again they're just like people who went to Split River but like in flashbacks from the past. But I don't know, I just for some reason get the vibe that they're just gonna be like living people at Split River that they like become friends with. And a little fun thing is that Yuri and Quinn have now been promoted to being series regulars, so that is so fun. We're gonna get to see a lot more of them. And now I'm going to get into like the different plot lines that I think are going to be explored in this season, and I'm gonna go like character by character. Okay, so obviously starting off with Maddie, I definitely think they're gonna really highlight like how much of a weird adjustment it's gonna be to like being alive again, and you know, obviously like her going back to school, like she's gonna have all eyes on her, and obviously I think she's gonna really struggle with being away from the ghosts, and you know, specifically like Wally. Although, you know, like everyone has said, I do think that she will still be able to see the ghosts, because we did see that Xavier could still see, like, her dad in the hospital, even though he's obviously not dead anymore. But obviously it's still going to be, like, different, because she won't be able to actually, like, touch them, or, like, obviously she won't be able to, like, stay with them, you know, because she can only be in school for a certain amount of time. It's going to be so weird to see her with like Claire and Xavier specifically, because when you think about it, we've never actually seen Maddie and Claire like actually interact. And then it's also gonna be weird to see her and Xavier, because obviously the last time she was alive they were dating. Imagine like this girl comes back to your school who has been missing for like 2 months or whatever, and then all of a sudden she's like best friends with like her ex and the girl that her ex cheated on her with, and they're all just like besties. You'd be like, what? It's just like so funny out of context, like not if you didn't know obviously like everything that happened. I also said that maybe we will see her get a little bit closer with her mom again, and like start to have a better relationship with her mom, because obviously last time she was alive she did not have a good relationship with her. When you think about it, that's kind of the whole reason any of these events have even happened, because her mom showed up to the school and was making her upset about the cabin or whatever, and so she let her down to the boiler room, and then that's how it all happened. So Sandra has like changed a lot. I think it's gonna be very strange for Maddie to like be with her mom again, and her mom is like very different than how she used to be, you know? I don't know how she's gonna explain what happened to her, because obviously, especially if Maddie like tells her like she wants to go back to school and everything, she's gonna be like, literally 2 seconds ago you were like traumatized and like wanted to do online school, and now all of a sudden you're like being normal again and like wanting to go back to school. Like, what happened to you? I just like have the feeling that like at least by the end of the season Maddie will actually tell Sandra the true story, and like obviously it's gonna, like, I don't know how she's gonna react, and it might be really hard for her to like actually believe at first. Just don't know how she could like go the rest of her life with her mom not knowing this like huge thing that happened to her. And like even the sheriff is starting to believe, you know, because of what Xavier said. So like if he can believe, I feel like Sandra could believe, you know? I feel like maybe that wouldn't happen at first, because that would be kind of crazy to like just say that all of a sudden in the beginning. So she's, I guess, gonna have to come up with some other explanation at first. The only things I could come up with were like her just saying she like has amnesia and like literally can't remember what happened to her. Or, but even that obviously like has holes, because then how would she explain like where she was? Like, I don't know. And then two, that like if she just said like she just like ran away after like what happened, because she was so upset about like the cabin situation, and like she was so upset at her mom and everything that she just like ran away and was like trying to hide out, but like then decided to come back. But once again, even that kind of has holes, because like she would still have to explain like where she was, and like I don't know. And or also like that wouldn't explain like the blood on the boiler room walls and whatever. So like I don't know, like those are literally the only things I can come up with, but they still like don't even really make sense. So I literally don't know what she's gonna say. The last thing Sandra saw was that all of a sudden she was like gone for a few days, because the living people took her, kidnapped Janet, and then they ended up bringing her to the school, which is obviously where they did the body swap and everything. And then Sandra just randomly saw her daughter on a stretcher, you know, being taken away by the ambulance, and then she woke up and like, but she doesn't know what the heck happened. And I also don't know how they're going to explain that, because like what are they going to say? Like, oh yeah, we just randomly went to the school and she just like passed out. I feel like the only thing I could think is if she's like, I don't know, like I just like wasn't in my right mind, and I was like trying to run away again because I was like traumatized, but then I like went to the school and then I like passed out or something, and my friends, like, no, I literally don't even know, like, what am I saying right now? I don't know, because I don't know how you would explain that. So, because even, not even just her, but like how her friends are gonna explain that to like Sandra and everything, I literally don't know. Hey guys, so as you can probably tell, it's a new day now. I literally was getting tired from how much I was talking, and I was barely even into my slideshow. So that just goes to show how passionate I can be talking about this show. But anyways, so moving on to obviously my favorite, Mr. Wally Clark over here. So like obviously I think we're gonna see Wally, you know, go through a lot of sadness over, you know, Maddie not being with them anymore, which is gonna be heartbreaking, like especially after building up so much of their like romantic relationship in the last season. I also think that, you know, he's finally starting to like process his self-worth and realize that he's not like a disappointment, or like he didn't fail anyone, you know, like he talked about when he went to his scar, feeling like the disappointment from his mom, his team, all that stuff. Like I think he's finally starting to grow from that. I think we're just gonna see more of Wally like reflecting on just like who he actually is as a person, and not like what he thinks he should be. Obviously he's not gonna cross over in the beginning, but I do wonder like how they're gonna go about that. Like, is he gonna like almost go in his door, but then he's gonna be like, no, like I can't do that? Or like, is he gonna like really be considering it throughout the season? Then with Charley, once again, I don't have too much written down, but I definitely think, you know, we're gonna see more of him and Yuri's relationship, which I love because I love them so much. And I also think Charley's gonna start to like just love himself more and like accept himself more, because you know, like, after everything they've been through and, you know, having this kind of, like, unconditional love from all of them, like, including Yuri, and, you know, just all the reflecting on everything that happens, like, I really think he's gonna start to be more, like, sure of himself. And oh my god, I just, of course, the really sad thing in my brain just had to be reminding me that he's only getting to love himself while he's dead and not alive, which why does this show do this to me? I'm just, like, curious to see, like, how they're gonna show more of, like, their relationship and stuff, because obviously, like, it's a weird relationship where, like, yeah, they're together, but, like, we know they're not gonna, like, be together forever, because, like, they're probably gonna end up crossing over, like, in the kind of near future. Like, I kind of just wrote this down on all of the ghost slides. Like, obviously, I think a big part of each of them is just gonna be, like, them thinking about crossing over and, like, the possibility of them crossing over, because obviously they've been in this ghost realm for so long, not knowing that there was, like, a pretty direct way of getting out. Even though, yes, obviously, like, they probably all want to cross over and, like, you know, they're sick of being stuck at this school, but at the same time, like, now they've all gone through all these things together, and, like, now they all love each other, and then they will have to... No. I'm getting the ick talking about this. I don't... Why am I so emotionally invested in fictional characters? Like, now they'll have to leave each other, and ew, why am I gonna cry? It's not that deep, Sophia. We can move on from this. Then Rhonda, once again, I just think, like, you know, we'll see more of her friendship with Quinn, and, you know, that will expand, and I think we'll see her start to be more, like, trusting and open with people, maybe a little bit more, like, happier and, like, brighter, instead of the, like, you know, down all the time type of Rhonda that we see, because, you know, she definitely has gained a lot more trust now in, like, all the ghosts, but, like, also with, like, Quinn, like, she's formed such, like, a trusting bond and stuff. And yeah, and then once again, I just said, you know, thinking about crossing over, and I mean, obviously, like, it's really crazy for Rhonda, because, like, out of, I mean, it's big for all of them, but, like, out of the three, like, main ghosts, like, Wally, Charley, Rhonda, like, she's been there the longest, obviously, and, you know, and her, I mean, obviously they were all traumatic, but her death was, like, really traumatic, so obviously it's going to be a huge deal to think about, like, the possibility of her finally getting to leave the school and cross over. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about Simon, which obviously has a lot on this slide because there is so much to talk about with him. I feel like Simon's almost going to, like, become the new main character, because I feel like him and Maddie are almost kind of, like, swapping roles in the show, you know? So, first of all, I realized we literally still don't know, really, like, why he could see Maddie. Like, I know they tried to be like, oh, because they just, like, have such a strong bond. And I don't know. Like, I feel like we need to, at some point, get, like, an actual, like, solid, like, confirmation of, like, why. Like, you know how in the description of the season they said, like, Maddie has to figure out the mysteries of the town in order to save her friend. So I almost wonder if, like, there is gonna be, like, a deeper reason with, like, why specifically Simon could, like, see Maddie and stuff, and then therefore maybe that also plays into why he was able to, like, get stuck in the ghost realm as a living person. Did he have, like, ancestors that were, like, ghost whisperers or something in the town? Like, I don't freaking know. Like, something about him I feel like is different from a lot of other people. The only theories I could think of, like, and none of these I even feel super connected to, but, like, literally the only things I could, like, come up in my head with why he could see her is, like, maybe somehow Maddie and Simon's spirits are kind of almost, like, connected because they were, like, so close. I know some people have said, like, has Simon ever had, like, a near-death experience or something that has, like, made him now, like, more able to, like, see the ghost realm, because I feel like that would be interesting, because we also don't know much about Simon. We actually know the least about his, like, backstory compared to, like, the other ones. Like, Xavier, we know, like, his dad and, like, how he is. Claire, we got a little information about, like, her parents and stuff. Nicole, we met her brother and stuff. We kind of know some stuff about her parents or whatever. Simon, we literally don't know anything. Like, all we know about him is just, like, stuff that has to do with Maddie. We don't really know anything about, like, his home life and, like, his family and stuff. So I definitely think they're gonna delve more into that. So that could even factor into it. Like, has he had some kind of, like, traumatic experience? Like, you know, like, near-death experience or like had a really close loved one die, kind of like Maddie and her dad, and like somehow that also like made something in him that is like able to see ghosts and stuff. Like, I don't know. Like I said, maybe he has like history with the spirits of the town, like his family or whatever. And this is another theory I have. I actually don't think like the whole mystery of, or like the whole plot line of like getting him back from the ghost realm is gonna take the entire season. Like, I actually think it might only be like half the season or something. Because the only thing that confuses me about this is like, I feel like in my mind, like it's almost a little more clear cut of how they would get him back. Like, because if we think maybe the way that he got stuck there is because like the veil was so thinned, because we saw how the school was all like red and everything, and like, you know, they had just done a million like body swaps and like all this weird stuff, and they were all like in the scars together and everything. But then, so then wouldn't you just think, oh, to get him out, we just have to like all go in our scars again or something, make the veil really thinned, and then he can just like leave? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the first thing I think of. Like, so I'm really curious to see how they're gonna like drag out that. I just don't understand why like that wouldn't be the answer, and like what the actual way of getting him out is gonna be. Like, I just have this feeling he's not gonna be in there the entire season, because I also just feel like that would just kind of feel like a repeat of like the whole Maddie plot line closer to the end of season 3 and like the finale and everything. Like, I feel like they can't just make it a repeat where it's like, oh, you have to save the person in the school. Like I feel like in the end of season 3 they're really gonna have to focus on like the ghosts thinking about crossing over, or like maybe they'll do a time jump and they'll be like graduating or whatever. But I do definitely think like while he's still in there, I think he's gonna like help them figure out a lot of like the mysteries of the town and stuff, because obviously Simon is very like savvy and like, you know, good at like figuring stuff out or whatever. Obviously he just did it for the past 2 seasons, so I think he's gonna like help them with that. And I almost wonder if they're gonna have to like, you know, go into like their scars for answers and stuff. Oh, I did say maybe that's how he's gonna leave, because maybe like in order to figure out the mysteries they're gonna have to go into their scars, which is then gonna like end up thinning the veil, and then like that will help him leave. But I don't know. Or I said maybe there will be a specific supernatural explanation for everything that is important to knowing how to get him out. I feel like there's almost gonna be like a slight little like feud between Wally and Simon in the beginning. Not because I don't think Simon and Maddie are like romantic, whatever, like not because of that, but just like how Wally's like was always like jealous because he felt like he couldn't like do as much for Maddie like Simon could. And then I feel like Simon was kind of jealous of him, just like, oh, Wally's like keeping her there kind of like, or like making her want to stay. Obviously I think as time goes on they're just gonna like be friends, but I do think that would be funny if they kind of do that in the beginning. And some people have said it would also just be really funny to see like how Simon and Rhonda interact, because I feel like they're kind of similar in some ways. Like they both kind of have like a kind of like sarcastic sense of humor sometimes, and they're both very like, they can both get kind of like hot-headed and stuff, so I feel like they might kind of almost even have like a little bickering sometimes. And even like, you know, I mean obviously I think Simon, when he first is with like Janet, I think he's gonna be a little like, bro, you literally, like, you're the reason that I had to like go through all this, like I kind of hate you. But I mean obviously, you know, I think they'll make up, but I almost wonder if there will also be like a little tension between them because of that. And obviously Mr. Martin, he's gonna be like, you know, not like, so it's just gonna be so cool to see him with all these people, you know. Lastly, I just wanted to read this quote that was in an article, and it was said by one of the executive producers, Oliver Goldstick. So after the finale, he said, Simon has had access to a world that other people have not. He's aware of another reality besides the one we all see on a daily basis. So we felt like if you spent this much time trying to save somebody else and you had immersed yourself so deeply into that world, could you be sucked into the vortex of that until you were trapped as well? I just feel like there might be something deeper with, you know, the whole Simon thing of like why he could see everyone, and then his spirit became so invested in just like, you know, Maddie and trying to get her out that like sucked him into it in the end. So on to Janet. So I definitely think Janet, you know, will be very going after Mr. Martin, you know, and really like interrogating him and finding out information about the town and like what he knows about, you know, why so many people have died here and all this stuff. I also think, you know, we're definitely going to see her teach everyone how to keep things from resetting, because they kind of tease that at the end of season 2 when she put something in front of the door to keep Mr. Martin in, and then Yuri was like, how did you do that? And she was like, oh, like, I'll teach you, you know, and they hinted it with the, you know, she would make stuff in the pottery room with Yuri that, like, didn't reset. And the only theory, like, I could have about, like, how she's able to do that is, like, I was thinking, like, maybe if you bring an object to your scar, it is now kind of, like, engulfed in the trauma, and then that keeps it from resetting, because I remember her saying in season 2, episode 7, that the trauma is, like, what makes the scars exist, and then that makes their keys not reset. So I almost wonder if, like, an object just, like, being engrossed in the trauma would also keep it from resetting. Or if maybe by attaching, like, a traumatic memory to an object or something, like, as you're holding it or something, could also, like, make it not reset, because the same thing as she said, like, something about trauma keeping things from resetting. So I don't know, those are the only, like, things I could come up with, but I really don't know. And then once again, I just said, like, you know, I think we're gonna see her thinking about crossing over, because obviously she literally, like, had the chance to in the last season, and, like, the door was literally there, but she just chose not to because of she wanted to find out what Mr. Martin knew about the town and everything. So, you know, but obviously I think, you know, we're gonna see her actually consider that, considering she literally saw her door. And Mr. Martin is another very interesting person that, you know, it's gonna be interesting to see how his role in the show is gonna be in season 3. Like I said, I think he was gonna explain some things to Janet about the town when she asks. I'm wondering, you know, if there is some kind of, like, evil force kind of surrounding the town, and that is, like, what makes it this, like, you know, realm that people get, like, stuck there, you know, their spirits. Like, Split River is kind of a play on the River Styx, which is a portal to the underworld in Greek mythology. Is there something that happened a long time ago in this town that was, like, really traumatic, or really, like, I don't know, that, like, made this evil force, like, come into the town? And then maybe this, like, evil kind of, like, energy surrounding the town is what causes more people to die. I almost think maybe Mr. Martin even discovered some of this weird stuff about the town, maybe even before he died. Maybe when he was, like, getting really upset about, like, being fired. There's that scene where he's saying, like, well, at least now I'll finally be able to go somewhere where, like, I'll actually be, like, respected or whatever. I mean, I feel like maybe he started to, like, learn a lot about the town, and he just, like, didn't like the town in general, not even just, like, the school. And maybe he even, like, learned some of this history of, like, weird things that have happened in this town. The fact that he kept all this information that he supposedly has about the town and everything, like, from Janet for all those years is, like, kind of insane. This was something that I thought about, because as I was making this, I was like, oh wait, like, is Mr. Martin gonna cross over? Like, I feel like that's a very weird topic to try to think about, because he's not the best person. We kind of see that crossing over kind of requires you, like, working on yourself and, like, facing your fears and stuff, which is obviously things that Mr. Martin has not done. Like, he, like, will not, you know, just own up to things he did or whatever. But I do actually predict that he will cross over eventually. I think he might have to really work on himself, and, like, I think maybe we will see him start to, like, show more remorse for his actions, and, like, maybe take more accountability for everything, and then maybe that will allow him to end up crossing over. But, you know, I definitely think it's gonna be a lot more difficult for him than the others. So that's actually going to be all for today's video. I don't want to make it too long, so I will be back with a part 2, discussing the rest of the characters and just going into some other theories about the different plot lines that I think are going to occur. So stay tuned for that. But thank you so much for watching this video. Comment down below all of your thoughts on things I said in this video, and if you have any theories of your own, and I'll see you in part 2. Bye!